I Don't Get It
Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the I Don't Get It podcast. Today, we have a special guest. It's our first guest in a while. Her name is Kendra Williams, and she's a motherhood coach, and she calls herself a truth teller. This episode is not just for moms out there, though. It's for anybody who is a mom or also intends on being a mom
or
one
have
day,
friends with mom, or have friends that are moms.
Yeah, that's so true. So you can better understand what they're going through. And this is, of course, inspired. Oh, and Naz has barely any voice. She's like trying to say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, you sound fine there.
Do I sound okay? Sometimes when I like garner a lot of energy, it'll sound good. And then
I wish that happened to me. I think it sounds so cool.
It never happens to Lauren and I.
You guys are so, you know what's so annoying? So many people are like, oh my God, I'm so
sexy.
jealous. I love when you sound, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I cannot make money when I sound like this.
Does it
like,
hurt?
This
or
is
it
worst.
just a sound?
A little bit. There's a massive viral infection going around. And like, I also read this stat that like, this is on record, the most people that have ever had the flu ever.
What?
Yeah.
It's probably because everybody's immunity is down from being like all sheltered for a couple of years. Yeah. And now like people are actually, out about like normal and like, they're like, oh God, I'm so susceptible. Anyway, you don't have to get into that. But
anyways,
Naz,
I'm on the mend now
here.
And I'm excited to hear about this because I have so many friends that are moms. And obviously after our last podcast, we had such amazing like feedback from all our listeners. So
so thank you again to all of you guys who reached out, said that you related to that podcast, My Little Mommy Meltdown. This is definitely a response to that because it's so common, and yet people are just supposed to like, they're expected to just think that the first year or so of motherhood is just rainbows and butterflies. And it certainly isn't that. It's actually a huge life change that can be quite shocking. And that's what Kendra is here to talk about. She has almost 100,000 followers on Instagram.
So we trust her.
So, and she talks about this, and her Instagram is @it.Kendra Williams. All right, now let's get her on the pod. Okay, guys, Kendra is here. Kendra, I introduced you as a mother coach, but there's like one thing that you specifically specialize in, and that is a word that I don't even know how to say it. I didn't know how to type it out to you. What is it?
The word is matrescence, and a really good way to remember saying it, and it's modeled after this word, adolescence. Matrescence, adolescence. Matrescence, adolescence.
Okay, the beginning of motherhood.
Bingo. Yeah.
Lauren is a genius.
And also, hi, yes, I'm Lauren, and I'm a genius.
She's the smartest
celebrity
one
interviewer,
here.
but
so it's I guess adolescence is the transition into adulthood, as matrescence is the transition into motherhood. And what I read just really briefly is that the transition to motherhood can be so similar to puberty.
Yes.
And explain why.
Yeah. So we're just going to it's not too graphic, but think back to when we all got our first periods. That was a biological event that symbolized us becoming women. And then it took a long time, many years. Our friendships are changing. We used to love our parents. Now we're like, oh my God, you're so annoying. Society's viewing you differently. It takes years to go through it. So it's like kicked off by biology. And it's the same with matrescence. It doesn't have to be a biological baby, though. It could be a surrogacy, an adoption, a bonus kid, whatever way you get that mom title. I call it like a mom hat gets put on. It's instant, but the person who wears that hat is going to take some time psychologically, mentally, emotionally to adjust to like that new role that you're going to be living.
And society obviously tells us, like, I saw a couple of your reels and it was funny because people were always being like, are you so excited? Or is it just like the most wonderful thing ever? There's this one line that I've heard multiple times and it's, are you loving every second? And I'm like, what?
The beginning of pregnancy or the beginning of motherhood?
The beginning of motherhood.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what the fuck? No.
Oh. Yeah. I always just bring up like wiping butts. Like you genuinely believe that I'm supposed to love every single second. And then they're toddlers and I'm holding the same boundary for like 500th time. Like, is that joyful and magical? Mm-hmm. It's not that they're not like acknowledging that that's there, but we only talk about the good parts. So when we struggle and have mommy meltdowns, we're like, what the F is wrong with me? I'm supposed to enjoy this. But that's just not the case. That's just not the reality. But people have only been sharing that. There's also this expectation that along with that, we're going to enjoy it, that we're going to be natural at it. It's going to be easy to conceive, easy to birth, easy to nurse or whatever, easy to mother. And in a society where mothering is like pretty much invisible, nobody wants to have a meltdown at Target. I'm only going to take my kid out when they're rested. We don't actually see mothers mothering. So we have no freaking idea what we're doing. We're like so new on this job and the job is new every day. But the unconscious narrative is it's so easy and you're going to love it. And we're like, what the fuck just happened?
You're going to love it. That's something that my mom said that was really like, it echoes in my brain all the time. And my mom and I have the best relationship ever. She's been completely understanding of all of this, but like something that she kept saying when I was pregnant, because I had an awful pregnancy, I had HG, and the entire time I was like, Mom, did I make a huge mistake? Like, my life's not going to be better. Like, my life is like, it was wonderful. It was the best. Like, I can't imagine it being better. And she's like, your life is going to be so much better when you have a baby. I promise. You're going to, like, it's just going to be so wonderful. And now I hear that in my head, and I'm like, Mom, I don't feel.
No. She had to clarify literally last week what she meant by that.
Yeah, it's like Mom did.
Yeah,
what did Mom say?
Mom was like, "Oh no! I meant when they're like 10."
Yeah,
you know. She was like, "No! You have that great time when they're 10. You can talk and go to the mall and do all the fun things. Now it's not. Your life is not better now."
Yeah. I know. I'm like, Mom, hello. I really needed to hear the specifics.
Yeah,
but it's so many days where it's like, I said this basically verbatim on my Mommy Meltdown podcast, but I'm like, I would like basically kill myself if something happened to my child. Like, I love him more than anything in the entire world. I always feel like it's stupid to have to say, like, I love him more than anything in the entire world, because like anybody who's a mother, like, knows, like, duh. I don't feel like I have to like say it in words.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is totally a different kind of like love than you have for anybody else. However, do I feel like my lifestyle is enhanced since before? No.
I did this writing workshop because this will apply to like anything, I feel like. And it was called, sorry guys. It was called Making Peace with Paradox. And that's literally just like all of life. Like all of life is a paradox. Like, you guys know, I like can't wait to find the person that I end up with, right? And then I know when that comes, that's going to come with all this bullshit.
Totally. Yeah.
And then I'm going to see the hottest guy the next day.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
why
you
the
are.
fuck can I make out with him? And so I love that we're having this conversation because it doesn't only just apply to like moms too. It's really just making peace with paradox.
The grass
and
is
like
greener on the other side.
Every good comes with its shit, you know?
Yeah.
We tell Naz all the time. So my sister is engaged and I've been married for 3 years. And she always has like this whimsical idea that like 3 years into marriage, she's still going to like want to like
daily
make out with her husband on the couch when he comes home from work every day.
How'd that go?
I know. And I'm like, believe me, you're not going to want to like just have this urge to like get on his lap and make out.
Yeah.
And that's really depressing.
Maybe some relationships are like that. We can't say a full blanket.
Some
maybe
actually
there are
though.
Yeah.
Some are.
Yeah. What I want to say
is so
like,
rare. That's the same with pregnancy though. Like some moms are like obsessed,
some moms
right?
do like it.
It's a rare. I think it's a rare experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it could be Courtney and Travis who've been like this for like 2 years now, but
the one thing about the paradox, this is like a cornerstone of motherhood is it's the and. Before motherhood, we can pretend that everything fits in a perfect box. And we can pretend there's a right and a wrong way and a black and a white way. And then it's motherhood. And you're like, I love my kids and I want to get away from them. I love my body for birthing my baby, but what the fuck is wrong with my stomach? And I love my husband. He's an amazing partner. And what happened to our sex life? So much.
And why is it so annoying when he chews now? It's so annoying. But I never annoyed you before. Anyway.
well, you need quiet now. If there's a baby crying and then he's chewing, like that's the extra layer. No.
Yeah. I have been recently having headaches,
mad anxiety, but
headaches,
it could be more. Lauren, it could be more.
It could be more
because I respect Lauren's hypochondria. Hypochondria.
It was 5, maybe 7 days consistently of having a headache, and I was like, well, obviously I'm going on ZocDoc and I'm going to find a neurologist. And
she's like a doctor who will take me seriously, unlike my father.
But yeah, okay. Yeah. Basically, I was like, I'm taking this into my own hands. So I looked on ZocDoc, and the best thing about ZocDoc is all of the patient reviews, honestly, because they are raving about these doctors' bedside manners and how seriously they took the patient's cases, and it made me feel so much better. And I mean, you can like a man, a woman, what their highest level of education was, all this stuff. And I prefer to have a woman doctor if they're going to be looking at my whole body, you know, just for comfort level. And with migraines, I feel like they can almost understand more and about hormones and all that stuff. So anyways, you can filter a whole bunch of things out. You can filter if they have your insurance and all these other things. And it was the easiest appointment ever created. And I got the appointment 4 days from when I was freaking out. So I was like, okay, well, in 4 days, I'm going to know what's up with my headache.
That's really awesome. I'm so excited for you. I'm really glad that this podcast ad has done so good for us.
Yes. It honestly, just knowing you have that appointment kind of takes the anxiety away.
That's actually for sure. Like, I remember the one time that I had to go to the guy. We could tell a story another time, but I've totally had that. Once all the symptoms go away once the doctor's appointment's made. Anyway, ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient reviewed. They take your insurance and are available when you need them. And now you can go to ZocDoc.com/getit and download the ZocDoc app for free. And then you could start a search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. And that's ZocDoc.com/getit, ZocDoc.com/getit.
In motherhood, we have to hold these totally opposing feelings, like rage and love. When your son or your baby's crying for like the second hour, you're like, I fucking love you. Like, ugh. It's like so confusing, when before it really felt like life. I could be like, okay, I'm angry, and then I would fix that, and now I'm back in the good place. Motherhood is just this. It is a paradox, and it is a death and a birth. Everything in life is death and birth, ending, beginning. And matrescence really is the death of the maiden and the birth of the mother. So you've split in two in early motherhood. And that's why some people say, and I used to say, I've lost myself. Like, who am I? I don't even recognize myself. I used to want to go do this in my career, and I used to do this, and I don't really want to, but like, that's all I know. So there's this split, and motherhood, the matrescence journey is like, who am I after that? So I call that the caterpillar soup. Like, no one likes to be like, what the hell's happening in the chrysalis of a caterpillar soup? And we come out the other end a butterfly, and we're like, shit, caterpillar life was simple. I could party, I could sleep, I could do whatever I wanted. But now I'm a butterfly, I have this amazing kid or kids. So it is like your mother's talking to the butterfly when your kid's 10. Like, that's the way I see it, is you're just a lovely caterpillar soup of matrescence.
So that's funny, because I was like crying to my husband yesterday, being like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I used to be fun. I thought I was funny. And now
you have really tackled matrescence, I feel.
Wait, are you kidding me? I feel like I have like been so boring, and I just was like, I've always liked myself. Like, you can ask Naz and Lauren. I've never like had self-esteem issues. I've always been like, no, I'm awesome, blah, blah, blah. And it's like recently I'm like, I don't think I have it anymore.
I think maybe because it's not just motherhood, but I feel like we're like at this age where we're not going to be the hottest or the youngest anymore. So it's like, you got to get over that hill while also kind of being a mom. But it's like, you don't know what's cool anymore because you're older, not necessarily because you're a mom. You know?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we're getting older. We're not Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like, it's time.
It's time. I saw a meme today, and it
so
was
hard at myself right now.
Wait, you continue it, and then I got to read this meme because I thought it summed up everything. It says when you buy pants from Costco, that's when you don't care anymore. That's when we let go of our egos and begin our spiritual journey.
You would never buy pants at Costco.
I would if they're cool. I
bought a jacket. I bought a jacket. So I'm halfway there.
Yeah, they were dope. 100% I would buy that.
Yeah, we're letting go of our egos now because we're in that metamorphosis.
And apparently life gets better when we don't care as much anymore.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah, it does. And that's what, I swear to God, that's the gift of motherhood is, I mean, anything can be a spiritual awakening. I happen to focus on mothers and this pattern break. It's like, I listened to the Mommy Meltdown podcast. It's like, you have your career, but it's shifting. The time, actual resources are shifting. You're being asked, what are my values right now? So we could drown here and be like, oh, what was me? Or it's like, shit, what are my values? What is my next step? What is my next chapter? We are doing that while sleep deprived, while on a new job every single day with our baby. But it is like the ultimate pattern break. And so matrescence can happen for people who aren't even mothers. Women who don't have kids move from maiden to mother. It's think of maiden as like that young, beautiful, selfish in a good way. Time is limitless. I have all the time in the world. We move to mother and we see the little baby and we go, oh, like time is passing. And now it's not just me, it's a we. And you look at it, this could change the way you look at your career. I used to only want to make a difference for me. Now I actually want to do something that's going to help the world. Or maybe if it's in a corporate job, people switch to like, can I do something that has a bigger impact in the company? So it's like mother energy as opposed to just like, I'm a mommy now and I like have a baby. Mother energy is like this powerful, also erotic, I believe, energy when you fully step into it. Our society is like, mommies are supposed to be like covered up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they're not. Like you can still be a sexy capital M mother. But we have to blend the maiden and blend the old you and the new you.
Yes. I definitely, as far as sex appeal go, don't see one
Nailed it.
more sexy than the other. I really don't.
One more sexy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a maiden opposed to a mother?
Yeah. I can see the sexiness of
Absolutely.
both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to read a quote from Jennifer Lawrence that actually came out today, which is so crazy that in timing for this podcast. She said, every day of being a mom, I feel awful. I feel guilty. I'm playing with him. And I'm like, is this what he wants to be doing? Is this developing your brain enough? So what's your response to that? Because I feel that all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess my first response is quality over quantity. Like I'm a motherhood coach. I literally work with women all day long. And they're like, I could not be more connected and present. I'm with my kids all day. Yet they're raging inside. They're not connected to themselves, so they can't connect to their kids. And I don't know how old her kid is, but
he's like 10 months. We had like a baby.
Oh yeah, whatever. The kid's probably loving that. Whatever the block side. But all they need at that age the first couple of years, it's just true connection. And we can't connect to someone unless we're connected to ourselves. So, and is she enjoying herself? Can she be present in the mundane moment is my response. That's really the question she's asking.
Okay. I find a hard time doing that. Like it's fun in sparks, like in little spurts. It's really fun. Yeah. I find it to be the most fun playing with him when there's others involved. So I love when my sister's here and we're just like oohing and gnawing over him, or like I'll FaceTime my family and we'll all watch him together. And of course I love it when my husband's around, but like sometimes when it's just me and him one-on-one, it's like, okay, now what?
I feel that too when I babysit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden it's less fun. I don't know why though. He's still just as cute and just as fun. I feel like I don't know what to talk to you about, man. Like I'm so uninteresting. I don't know. Like play with this.
What's interesting is when you were sharing that, Kendra, I was thinking about how like when you enter a relationship, how that person becomes a mirror. To like all your own shit. And I didn't realize that maybe like a kid is essentially like an even bigger mirror because it came from you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Actually, I'm not a mom, but I guess maybe if I had a kid, I would just be like looking within myself. Like if it was just me and the kid, like, is this kid connecting to me? Am I connected to myself?
You hit the nail on the head. I literally do two things with like my actual toolboxes are matrescence and conscious parenting. And there's people talk about conscious parenting. They think it's gentle, positive, respectful. Conscious parenting is literally viewing your child as a partner in your life at a soul level. Obviously they're not your bestie and that you got to teach them about the world, but they come in these whole pure beings connected to their feelings, so embodied. That's why they had the melt. They're so embodied. And we're like, what the fuck? I don't have those feelings. I wasn't allowed to have those feelings, or I'm uncomfortable with that feeling. So it's not even necessarily about having fun with our kid, especially at that age. They can't like actually play games. They're not singing songs or whatever. Dancing's kind of cute, but like, it's about how can I just be with them? And so many of us don't know how to be because we're so used to doing.
Yes, that's exactly
Right?
what it is. I always wonder if like millennial moms feel this need like to constantly be productive because it's just like how we've grown up.
Yeah.
Because we like value what's Naz, what do we say? It's like we value ourselves based on like our productivity level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like our generation wears like busyness as a badge of honor.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we think it's like so successful to be so busy and doing things all the time.
That's like
Yeah, so
the
I
ultimate
think it's
curse
harder.
in motherhood because
Yeah.
I say mother is a noun and a verb. You are like, actually you are a mom. You are a whole mom. You're an amazing mom because you exist as Dawson's mom. The verb is the act of mothering, the diapering, the putting to bed, the soothing the milk, like the mothering stuff. And if we do come into motherhood thinking that we can win the mothering, he's going to wake up again tomorrow. You're going to change his diaper, feed him, clean him. You cannot win. And no one really values mothering things. You can't be like, oh,
Yeah.
I fixed 3 meltdowns today. Like no one gives a shit. So you have to go into how can I value literally myself? How can I value mothering? So when I am with him and I'm doing nothing's off the to-do list. How can I actually, I don't even know if it's enjoy yourself, but just be with yourself in the mundane.
Let's talk about a huge, massive issue out there that's actually not talked about just as Matresence. What is wrong?
Matrescence.
Why can't I get words, Lauren?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I can
no
get this
words or
word.
numbers. Okay,
It's-
matrescence.
okay.
But this is Nutrafol.
Yeah, this is Nutrafol, and let's talk about the issue that has created Nutrafol, like that Nutrafol has been designed because of, and that's because 80 million men and women in the U.S. experience hair thinning. It's just not openly talked about, but it can be scary and stressful, and then like the anxiety and not talking about it can like actually add to the problem, and then you get more and more thinning. But Lauren is the hairdresser here, so I'll let her talk about how it creates fuller, thicker, healthier hair.
Well, Nutrafol is formulated with potent botanicals that help you get strong hair. And it's also physician formulated. If you can hear Dawson in the background, he's just helping us with an ad. It's physician formulated to be 100% drug free. So it's kind of like just take it with your multivitamins or whatever vitamins you take. It's going to help you get new little hairs all over your head. You'll kind of notice maybe in like 3 to 6 months that there's like a consistent new growth pattern happening. And those are your new hairs coming through thanks to Nutrafol.
Oh, and like for those of you who are sensitive to taking biotin pills like I am, they have a whole hair care line of serums and shampoos and conditioners that can help invigorate at the scalp.
Nutrafol's ingredients don't only help you get thicker hair, but it also can have you sleep better and have a better stress response and help your skin, nails, and libido. Because as we've just discussed, everyone needs a little help in the libido department unless you're on Too Hot to Handle and for some reason need to have sex every 3 seconds. So anyways, you can grow healthier, thicker hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and using our promo code GETIT and save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. And can I just say, if your friend or your whatever has been talking about and complaining about their thinner hair, get this for Christmas.
Oh my God, it's a great gift.
It's a freaking good gift.
Yeah.
So, plus free shipping. You get free shipping on every order. You get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com with the promo code GETIT, GETIT, for hair as strong as you are.
I go through spurts in my life where I'm really busy with work and I can't talk to one friend. And then the next day I'm like free and I'm like, oh, where is everyone? And sometimes because I live alone and I'm single, I think I get in the habit of like when I'm in the car, I have to call someone and I became very aware of this earlier this year. And I was like, oh, I need to just sit with myself. Like I don't need to, at every car ride doesn't have to be a phone call with someone. Mm-hmm. Like I don't have to fill this space with someone. I don't have to like, just cause I'm free tomorrow at 2, I don't have to like see who's free. And so I really started to just like be with myself. And then when you said that, do you guys remember when I went to work with those wild Mustangs, the horses?
Yeah.
Last year. So I went to work with horses to work through my anxiety, and because horses like know if you're anxious. So none of the horses wanted to be around me because I'm anxious as fuck. And I walked into this ring and like all of them left except this one. And I started crying. And I had never experienced being next to like a being that just wanted to be next to me because of my essence, not because of like my name or who I was or my job or because we were friends. And like when you were saying that about a baby, it like because you can't really talk to a horse either. And so I don't know, all of that was just kind of going through my head where it's like you really have to just like be and just let someone just be next to you just for being you. And it's actually so fucking vulnerable and terrifying.
Right. It's so vulnerable. I entered motherhood so anxious. I'm like, my son, my oldest is like a very sensitive soul anyways. But like I was throwing bombs at him. I was quiet, but he was like, I was essentially blowing flames out of my chest. I is energetically looking back. He had colic and I'm holding him and just like pouring hot lava energetically on him. Cause I was like, oh, inside. And I knew I was anxious my whole life, but it didn't affect anybody else because I could keep a really good face and I made my anxiety work for me. I was a workaholic. I was successful, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, F this baby. He's calling me out and he's not going to sleep. So I'm failing at this job, this mom job. I can't get him to sleep. He's not all the baby struggles, but I was taking it so personally because I felt like he was, highlighting my anxiety. And it was the first time I had to sit. I mean, that was the entrance to conscious parenting for me, myself, is like, shit, how do I just be separate from the value of mothering? I was like, oh my God, this is not what I thought motherhood was.
I have a whole other podcast on this conscious parenting, even if it's a bonus episode with you and I. But I would love to talk about how you say, I think you're like in the midst of this conversation right now. You say there's a difference between being a caregiver and a mother.
I've talked about how in the beginning of life, you're the caretaker.
Yeah.
Like as right now, you're like the caretaker of your baby. And then you become the coach, like in their teen years, because hopefully we have that connection, but they're kind of unenmeshing and living their own lives. And then later in life, if you've created the connection and the foundation, you become the counselor. So that's like the journey as a parent of like a long-term picture.
Okay,
is that what you
gotcha? Yes, that would be it. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he said something along the lines of like somebody's like in a nursing home. There's like a nursing home, like the situation, like those are like the routine things, like the routine, like the feeding and the diaper changing and all that stuff.
Caretaking, was it doing navigating motherhood?
Possibly.
Okay. Let's talk about that. That's a good chunk. That's a good chunk.
Okay.
We kind of already touched on, there's 3 parts. So being a mom, you are a mom. You are a podcast. You're all your titles. And now you have another title on the list. Mom.
Okay. Yes. This is what you're talking about. This is
okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you are going to evolve in this new role. So that's separate from the doing, which is what we kind of talked about, which is all of the mothering tasks. You're going to call the doctors. You're going to nurture them. You're going to discipline them. You're going to find their schools, all of the things mothers do. And then the third part, which no one talks about, is navigating motherhood. Because up until now, everything has been, oh, you're a mom now, let me help you parent. So motherhood is the social systems that are in place, the social expectations that you must navigate now that you're a mom. So you walk into a club now, they go, oh my gosh, Ashley, and then, oh, you're a mom? Like that.
Yeah,
all of the new unconscious shit. Like, what does that even mean? But now you're navigating like, oh, you're a mom. I'm a mom now. What does that mean? Friendships. You've talked about, or no, that was not a parent yet, but still when you're going through something, how do my friendships adjust? Do I talk as much with a child, less friends than I did before? When do I even see these people anymore? If you're like me, I was going to hit the glass ceiling and then I was going to take a year off and just raise my kid just for 1 year and then go back. And I remember saying, I'm only taking a year off. Don't think I've lost myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I was undervaluing motherhood
Yeah.
So I was very much unconsciously playing into, I'm not a mom. Moms aren't valuable. And I'm like, holy shit, I was doing that to myself.
Yeah.
And
I feel like until you go through it or you see someone like firsthand going through it, you're going to have that mentality.
I agree.
Just like,
yeah.
I mean,
Because that's how society views moms.
yeah, friends and like even my fiance all the time, he's like, she's a stay-at-home mom, and he like rolls his eyes every time. And I'm like, well, just wait till it happens for us. And who knows what if I'm going to continue working. This is like, I don't know how anyone could possibly do it all. So
He's like a really bad example. Well, I say that because like he really doesn't get it.
He really doesn't
like
get
he's
it, yeah.
Even before I was a mom, he was always kind of shitting on stay-at-home moms to Lauren when they talk about their future. Anyway, that's
Right.
a major part of their relationship they have to sort out. But
I definitely don't even like bringing men into, well, I like men, but I don't like bringing them into this conversation because it's not even them. It's us women that have internalized it.
yes,
The
for
idea,
sure.
like, I wouldn't have considered myself a feminist pre-motherhood, but I was like, I made more than my husband. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to essentially be a woman and be a man in a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't value motherhood. And I was like, wait, they say we have a choice. You can be whatever you want to be, honey. You could grow up. The sky's the limit. But we don't actually have a choice because when I chose to stay home, I undervalued myself and so did all of society. So was that really a choice? That can be talked about in a non-scary way before you enter. Like, yo, especially if they're a career woman, like you're about to walk into a landmine here if you have no idea about, there's terms like the maternal wall that you're going to run into before the glass ceiling, where women leave work to get the sick kids while the men stay. Men typically make more money when they become fathers. Women make less. So many.
what? Why is that? Is there any science to that?
Yeah, there's so many. It's 3 for men. What's it called? The fatherhood bonus and the motherhood penalty. Because women.
Get the motherhood penalty, unfortunately, but I don't understand how the guy would start making more because he's a dad.
Because he has to provide.
I think it's because he looks more successful. People.
Right.
I can't quote the studies, but I can send them to you if you want to link them. But it's something around the perception. No, it's something around the perception that he's literally doing it all.
Stable.
That if a woman is doing the exact same output as a man, but I have a pregnant belly, I'm looked at like I'm not as dedicated. Whether I'm as dedicated or more doesn't matter. I'm perceived as, oh, she's gonna have a baby now.
So wild.
It is so
wild.
crazy.
And it's illegal. It's illegal to do this.
Yeah.
But the bias is
exists,
there.
yeah.
It does exist. It's the idea that if someone is married and their boss is like, well, she's probably going to go on maternity leave. Like and she's like, well, yeah, I probably am going on maternity leave. So it's not just the men or just the stodgy companies. It's us saying, well, yeah, I'm going to be a mom now. Okay, I'm going to take a step back. It should be me to get the kid. I don't want that responsibility because now, yeah. So I don't want to misquote any studies, but the men actually, I think that the percentage is 3% more. I just don't know what about that.
That's super interesting. Let's talk about why men don't go through. There's not a word for
Oh my God.
Patterns.
I love you, girl.
Matrescence. There's no
Matrescence.
Yeah. Why not?
People ask me this on social all the time. As of right now, it's been coined in the blogs. Apparently, there's some research. I've had some people at colleges reach out to me telling me that they're studying it. There is no research that I can find, no journal that I can find on matrescence. What my personal opinion is that this is so heavily based in sexism and patriarchy because men aren't navigating the maternal wall. They're not navigating, oh, you're a dad now? Sorry, don't really care. They don't have physical bounce back culture. Dad bods are hot somehow, and we need to go back to looking 25.
Yeah.
And there's just the expectation that we are super women, that we can do it all, that men just don't have the same. And it is very, very gendered. So if you identify as a woman and a mother, I don't care what's going on, you are entering like an uphill battle that is going to affect way more areas of your life than it would if you identify and are a man. So a woman, same sex, 2 women, they're both going to go through matrescence because they're both female mothers in a world that doesn't value mothering.
But so do we think that most men do have like some
Chemical?
I don't know. It's like we were talking about how it's like hormonal and physical and emotional and like all these things. Do men have a transition so significant, or that seriously is something that they're trying to research and there's not really any?
They're trying to research. So this is an interesting fun fact. We've all heard of mom brain. It is very, very real. There is a part of our brain where the gray matter shrinks, and another part that gets more intense. It's for us to connect to our children.
I don't know where my phone is 24/7. I lose my phone around the house all day long. And that is like the number one thing that has changed that I can like pinpoint. Yeah. As of right now, the studies go to 2 years for sure. In a brain scan, we would know who's a mother and who's not a mother. Your brain is just different. Hey.
Yeah. I love it.
So there are some studies, I'm like a nerd for this stuff. So there are some studies where if the man has done skin to skin and is really involved, like if it's usually a country that has paternity leave, their brains will adjust as well. But for the most part, men aren't, especially in the US, men aren't actually able to stay home. They're out providing, doing the thing. And the moms are home. So my personal view of it is absolutely, it's a significant life event. Is it a core identity shift before and after for men? No, it is a life event that changes their life forever. That's my personal view, is that I call it a life event. And of course their relationships are going to change. Their friendships are going to change, but it's not going to be at that level ever, right, in this society, because we have just different standards for women and men.
So what can women do, like living within these standards if they're a new mom?
Yes. F the patriarchy. Literally, you have to, the first place to start is, what does it mean to be a good mom to me? What does it mean to be a good mom to you? And you start unpacking. If you think a good mom is the mom that does everything, cuts the crust off the sandwiches, kid looks great, literally look at that. Where did these expectations come from? 1, and 2, do I want to keep all of these? Which ones do I want to keep? Because the expectations are so unrealistic. And some people love cutting the crust off. Some people want to stay home. Some people want to work. Like I am a motherhood coach. I help women literally like carve out their own path in motherhood. So it isn't a FU to everyone else, but that when they start scrolling social media and they see curated pictures, they're like, I already said that's not important to me. So it doesn't need to be an attack. Yeah. But unless you parse out and say, oh, part of me wants to do the Christmas cookie house and the gingerbread house and see Santa and do that. If you haven't actually said, hey, that's not in my values this year, the mom guilt and the mom shame spiral is going to grab you. So it's really about, what does it mean to be a good mom to me and my family with my circumstances?
I said, I'm not doing Christmas cards. I cannot do Christmas cards.
And you don't do Christmas cards.
I'm trying not to feel guilty every time I have one of my mom friends send me a Christmas card with their family.
You know what?
It.
They see enough of Dawson on Instagram that no one needs a card in their mail.
That is so true. You know? Thank you.
Yeah.
What inspired you to get into this role? Because I'd love to know if it was your personal experience.
1,000%.
Through.
Yeah. So I have a 5.5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and my entrance into motherhood just physically was I'm not going to go into details and traumatize people. It just wasn't, I physically didn't have a great recovery from the delivery. And then my son had colic at the time for 9 months. So I literally hated, and I decided to stay home because I was going to be a good mom and stay home for a year. So I was in a living hell. And then I got pregnant at 11 months postpartum. Oh, we had 5 good days in a row. We had literally 5 good days. And we did.
And then you got pregnant after the 5 days?
We did it once. My daughter took her one time to enter this world. And it was never going to happen again. So then I was then I was 2 under 2, and my son got a diagnosis of, I don't want to like air his dirty laundry, but he got a diagnosis and stuff. And I mean, truly drowning. And I felt like, oh, maybe I should just go back to work because I'm really good at it. Like going back to our conversation, I crushed it. I got the raises. I got the money. Like I suck at this whole role. Why don't I just kind of daycare it up and go back? And I'm like, that was the entry point to my inner journey, I'll call it, conscious parenting. And I came out, I felt like a phoenix rising. I'm like, I'm a whole new person, whole new values, healed so much stuff. And I'm like, what the hell just happened to me? and that was 2 years ago, I found the term matrescence, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't anybody tell me that that's what I was going through, that maybe I was walking into that? And I did follow the matrescence journey. I felt like I was the only one. And now I'm like, holy shit, I separated from my husband, got back together. I just had my whole life imploded in every single area. And I'm like, I just got to help. This is my life now. I help people walk through the chunks of their life that are being rebirthed in matrescence.
So why do we think it's not talked about, this term, this phase of life?
Well,
because it would help a lot of women to know what they're experiencing.
It's your first period in adult.
And you don't really talk about your first period. You don't go to school usually and say, I got my first period.
This term has been around since the 70s. So Dana Raphael coined it. And this woman, I'd never heard of her. She's the same woman that coined the term doula, which doulas are great. But I was like, matrescence would have been better to know for the last 50 years. So it's been around. And I think it just kind of got unearthed. I don't know when it happened. Someone named Orly Athen is like really actually researching it now and making it more of a thing. Yeah. I don't know why. I just think because mothers, we're told that we're supposed to do it all. We're supposed to be super women, be perfect. And we don't want to admit that we're failing. I think that we're told, that's part of the shame of it is, oh my God, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying this every second. I talk about them. This rolls off my tongue. I'm fine with it. These are huge truths for some women. That's their darkest, deepest secret is I'm afraid that I should have never had kids because I didn't know how hard this was. So it's like the shame that keeps it quiet.
Naz has to leave right now. So I just wanted her to say goodbye and for you to know that.
Yeah.
She's
and I just want to say, Kendra, thank you so much for bringing so much consciousness to motherhood and having this conversation and offering your coaching. Obviously, you'll tell everyone where to find you, but this has been very enlightening. And thanks for telling us about matrescence.
Absolutely. Thank you. Feel better. Feel better.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay.
All right. Bye. Okie smoky. I mean, if this isn't the perfect ad for this podcast, if you are going through a life change, as I am, as a lot of mothers listening to are, if it's not parenthood that's your change, but perhaps it's a career change or a new relationship, there are therapists that are trained to help you figuring out what's causing challenging emotions through this transition of life. They know how to help you with productive coping skills, because honestly, therapy is the closest thing to a guided tour of this complex engine that we call life in you. So engage their help, seek it out.
If you guys don't already know, BetterHelp is the largest therapy service, and they have matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online, and it's very affordable. So you just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist, and if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist at any time. So there's no waiting rooms, no traffic, and you can do it in your bed, which is always a bonus. So learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/getit. That's betterhelp.com/getit. So what is a golden nugget of information that you give people that come to you? A little golden nugget and it's aha, this will make this whole new phase easier. Mm-hmm. For free. Give it to for free.
Yeah. Well, usually the golden nugget, the first one is you're actually going through something. It has a name. It's matrescence. You're not crazy. You're not alone. And this isn't your fault. No one told you that it was going to be this hard and these were the things that you were going to be navigating, and you did the best you could, and you're doing the best you could. And I think the golden nugget, truly the most courageous thing you could do, the strongest thing you could do in motherhood is ask for help, literally from anyone in your village.
Yeah.
This whole superwoman doing it alone. I'm on a rant right now about the village. People are like, I can't trust the village. The village is blah. And I'm like, we have to reach out. We have to reach out.
Village.
Oh my gosh. You need the village. So since my mommy meltdown episode, which now is going to go live in infamy by this title, this podcast title, it's really easy to remember, which is nice. I have gotten a nanny. That was actually the first day that we had a nanny almost full time, 30 hours a week. And holy shit, our lives have changed so much in the past 3 weeks. We can breathe. Jared and I are having nights where we're able to just kind of like sit on the couch together. We went to dinner the other night, and then the day after we watched the Buccaneers game together. It was just so great. And we are breathing easily. So
and you get your work done during those hours. So then when she leaves, then you're like free of that worry.
Pretty much.
Okay.
You know, like, yeah, I'll dabble, you know, when he's like napping or after he's in bed and stuff like that. But like, it has been a total game changer. I like look forward to like making dinner for it's like just like a whole different thing. Anyway,
it's just 30 hours out of your week.
You're recharged.
That was the answer, was just to like accept the fact that I needed more help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to backtrack a little bit, but you were saying that a lot of people will get confused between postpartum depression and anxiety and I'm still not
Matrescence.
Matrescence. Okay,
Matrescence, like adolescence.
I'm really bad with learning new words. Okay, so matrescence in that, and now I was reading comments and stuff, like, you know, under my mommy meltdown things, and some people were like referring to like maybe I had postpartum depression. Can you explain the difference between postpartum depression and this? Because I can tell you assuredly, I know what depression feels like, and anxiety feels like, and I do not have it. When I found out through you what matrescence was, I was like, that is what I'm experiencing. So can you just like make the differences clear?
So I'm going to make it clearly unclear, because every mother goes through matrescence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So think of a bell curve. On one hand, I think it's, I don't know the percentage of people that actually have postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. And then there's like the 80% of us that fall in the middle struggling with matrescence. And then there's like the 10% that's like rainbows and I had the most amazing home birth, baby latched, just sleeping through the night at 2 months. It's like so crazy. Like people think it's just postpartum depression and rainbows. And I'm like, fuck off. There's the rest of us in the middle.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
But matrescence, even the person who's having rainbow experience is going through matrescence. It's just a fucking amazing one.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true. Yeah.
This makes me feel so much better, because there are some influencers that I'll see and they're like talking about having kids already when their baby isn't even one yet. And I'm like, am I supposed to feel that desire for another one right now when I feel like I'm drowning with one?
No. You're supposed to feel whatever you feel. But I mean, if they probably have a rainbow experience, I'm presuming, or they're quickly outside of it, and then rose-colored glasses are real, right? They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on your experience and your expectations. Like if someone would have told me about, honestly, just the basics of matrescence, it's like when you're sick, you're like, can someone just tell me what I have? Like, am I dying or what? Just tell me what it is. As soon as you get the word or you get the label, you're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
It's a phase, it's a season, it's a cycle. I can handle this. But when it's just like the unknown, like I'm literally going to drown for the rest of my life until he's 18. Like, what is this? Then why would I want another one of these? But it is very cyclical. So
when do people normally start to phase out of it?
You're asking the tough questions. So everybody's going through the process, no matter where they are in that spectrum. Some people don't notice like that inner split between old me and new me really explicitly until maybe the first time is when they have a baby. Second time is usually when they get back from maternity leave. Everything's great. And then they're like, oh my God, I literally live 2 lives. There's my work life and my old life and my mommy life. And what the heck's going on? The next time usually is when kids go to school, when they're like 5 years old, and you're like, what? My kid's in the school system, and like anytime the mom hat gets front and center, think of a new matrescence cycle. Like a divorce puts matrescence back at the center. It questions everything about what are my mothering duties right now? Who am I right now? I'm the mom and the dad. Questions. But for some people, they don't feel it until later. They won't be like struggling with it and need any awareness of the term. But keep in mind, we all talk about the village and living in community. This term came in the 70s. Before that, people weren't saying matrescence. Mm-hmm. Some of us still aren't, Ashley. Just kidding. No, but they would have just been, the elders would have been like, hey, this is going to happen. Oh, you hate your husband for the first 6 months? Okay, yeah, that's normal. I promise you're going to love him again. We would have just been whispering the normal things. And it's because we don't have that village. So I always remind moms, the village isn't just babysitting. It absolutely, that's like the goal. But the village is also, who can you vent to? Who can actually give you the hard truth without that charge of like, oh, just you wait. Rather than, hey, when they go to school, it's kind of crazy. You're going to navigate all like the new kindergarten friends. Your commute's going to change. It's just an adjustment. Like, call me if you need me. Not like, ugh. But right now we have a bunch of like bitter women, not by their own fault, but nobody welcomed them into it. So they're like, no one told me about that. Like, I get trolled by boomers. Back in the day, we didn't.
Oh my God, I'm so
gosh.
sure. My favorite thing is reading boomer comments. Yeah.
But they're like, I didn't have this. We just sucked it up. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Just
you
let him
didn't.
Cry. Yeah.
Right. But it's like, I'm sorry you didn't have that. Like, is that what you tell your millennial or Gen X daughter? Just get over it. No.
I had this comment, under that post that I posted the podcast, I had over like 1,500 comments. I only had one that was a boomer, and it was wild. She goes, I had 2 kids under the age of 2. I worked 2 jobs. I was a single mom. I came home and I worked and I made dinner every night. They were fed and bathed and blah, blah, blah. She goes, and I was mentally all there and 100% happy the entire time. And I go,
wow,
you
rainbow children.
You
again.
obviously forget your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes, she literally was funny because she didn't even realize, but she quoted our podcast. She goes, I'm sorry. I don't get it. Like, she did not get my meltdown.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean, that's, this isn't a conscious parenting podcast, but like, that's just her inner child being super, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. And then their egos jump on the keyboard. And I'm like, I see it. You were unmothered, and we are going to do it differently. And it is, if I were them, I'd be like, yeah, dude, this isn't fair. All you millennials get to like heal yourselves and like raise happy kids. Like, I was struggling. I totally get it. I just delete though. But the village was way more than babysitting. It is to support. I say the village is to raise the mother now. We live in our homes with our nuclear tiny families. We don't have people coming over all the time. It sounds like you guys have awesome babysitting, but for the most part, it's how can the mother be supported?
Yes.
Like, literally, do you need a mom's night out, or do you need to work out, or what activates you and makes you feel like a happy human so you can then parent your tiny human?
Yeah. I felt like my village was going to be bigger than it has proven to be. And I had definitely feel like this has been one of the more lonely periods of my life. And yesterday I was trying to figure out why that is, because I still have like this group of best friends. Like, I don't have this like kind of like we don't have like a crew type of friends, but like I had like 11 bridesmaids, right? Like, I had like so many good best friends. And I was wondering, I was like, why is it that I feel like so lonely at this period of time? This is my theory, and then I'd like you to go into yours. I think that, well, first, because the friends that don't have kids, you feel like you can't vent to because they just won't get it. And like, to a certain degree, like, it's on it. Honestly, they won't get it. My sister gets it because she like pretty much lives with me like part-time.
Yeah,
you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's certain friends that have stayed more over here, and like they kind of get it too, they understand like my kid's dynamic. But I think that when it comes to a lot of the mom friends that you'd think it would be really therapeutic to talk to, because like they have a kid around that age, I think there's like a lot of comparison that goes on. You're like, oh, your kid does that. Oh, my kid does that. Oh, he doesn't do that. Oh, I never heard of that. And then if you like are talking about something and then you realize that your kids don't match up on that, one of you is feeling bad about yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's why it gets to a point where you're like, oh man, should I even share?
That's why you need like a grandma. Like, you need grandmas.
A good Karen
to tell you. Yeah.
A good Karen.
A good Karen. Yeah.
No, I think this is from before motherhood. Women are unconsciously trained to compete. No, my gosh, Bachelor Nation, you're trained to compete for men. I always say, trained to compete for your partner, trained to compete for your job, trained to compete. And it's not even conscious. Like, you're not going to like me, or I actually don't like you, but it's kind of running the show. That's why a lot of women I talk to, they're like, well, I can't go unless I have my hair and makeup done. I can't go because we skipped our naps. My kid's not going to be perfect. It's like, no, that's you competing. You're using your child as part of your competition. And one, they're not. They're their own thing. They have a meltdown. That's not your fault. Your only job is to respond appropriately. Their job is to have the meltdown. But it's there is a competition in motherhood that is next level compared to like in the maiden, when we're all just competing and gallivanting, doing our own thing. Yeah. And it's painful now because we need each other in motherhood. We need each other now. But it's like, how do I extend my vulnerability and know that you're not going to, well, my kid slept 12 hours last night. Oh my God, I hate you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. My meltdown happened after we had, it's funny. It actually was probably timed because of this. It was my husband's birthday week. We had dinner with the family, and my niece is 2.5 months older than my son. And then we have friends, and they have a kid who is about 6 months younger than him. Both of them were talking about how like they go to bed. The kid goes to bed, sleeps through the night. They get to have fun, and they binge watch TV shows and like all this stuff. At the family dinner, my niece was so well behaved, just sat there for like 2 hours. My kid's all over the place, just craving attention at every set, like undivided attention. And I'm like, okay, these people, they might be in the same boat as me as having kids in the same age, but they certainly aren't in the same boat as me. Yeah. So I'm not going to vent to them.
Yeah. I felt like I can relate to that in early motherhood. I told you my son had colic. I would see a mom and their baby would be like, and they're like, he's so fussy. And we're at Starbucks. Like,
oh my God.
And I wanted internally, one, I'm mad as fuck because she's making motherhood look easy. Two, she's pointing out how shitty I am. She's not actually pointing it out. But I was like, that's in my mind. That's fucking crying. That's a meltdown. You lucky. You don't even know how lucky you have it.
Oh my God.
I was raging.
You got to let it out.
Yeah, I feel it.
I didn't let it out back then. I would just do my thing, right?
God. Like, you came home and you're like, you don't fucking believe what she said. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's competition, and just what it is. Every relationship is a mirror. What they're mirroring back. They're mirroring back that you must be doing something wrong because your kid's not like that. Right. So it's not all them. Because you're like, you're taking it, your parts of you are taking it on.
Oh, right? Yeah, 1,000%. Right. It's me. I'm sure they're not thinking it. I mean, maybe they get in the car and they're like, holy shit, I'm glad that he's not ours, which I think they might say. But like, I definitely harp on it more than I think that it's anything that's going through their heads.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's usually not, but that's the Matresence conscious parenting, like 1-2 punch. It's like, I'm supposed to be a natural at it. I'm trying to connect with you. You're pointing to me where I need to do the work so I can connect with you. So I can reach out. So I can feel good hanging out with you when my son's not being a perfect angel, because he's not being a perfect angel. So am I supposed to self-isolate until he's like 3 and grown up or something? That sounds terrible.
I'm sure a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kendra, this has been so informative and like made me feel even better than going through your Instagram. Do you have anything that we've left out that you'd like to mention?
No, I feel like we've covered, Matresence 101 for sure. I would love if every mother just knew the word matrescence. You're going through something. If you feel like you're struggling, Google it. You're going to find some love.
I'm sure that like 80% of people listening to this definitely learned the word matrescence today.
1,000%. And like before you got on, I said it's not just for moms. It's for anybody who is supporting a mom or hopes to be a mom one day to mentally prepare themselves.
Go ahead.
No.
Well, I was going to say there's one video going viral right now about this woman who's saying, is anybody else like pretty much not want to have sex with their partners in the in the first 3 or 4 months? And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And everyone in the comments was like, yes.
Yeah. Well, one, the whole birth thing, like you're allowed to have sex at 6 weeks, but your organs are still finding new homes. Like that's wild. But I was also, you're going through a hormone drop once the baby and placenta come out. Your brain is changing. Your identity is changing. Your whole life is changing. And in the first year, we look at our partners as their attractiveness is more rated off how good we view them as fathers. So I always say, it doesn't matter how hot they were, and how great it was. If you don't feel like they're supporting and being a good participant in the baby's life, you're going to be like, meh. So just that women knowing like, oh my God, matrescence affects my sex life. They're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not a dried up old hag who's a mom now that's never going to like, it's a phase. Just wanted to leave you with a little sex talk.
And being on antidepressants just really can't get it going, you know?
That's a conversation that we've had another time, and we could again have another time. Yeah. All right. So where do people find you? I said it's at It's Kendra. What's the rest of the
Kendra Williams. And I'm on Instagram and TikTok as it's.KendraWilliams or kendra-williams.com.
And how would people book a private session with you for coaching?
Link in bio, as per usual, or you can go right on my website. I'm doing one-on-one for just a couple more months, and then I'm moving to a group format, and I'll have my own podcast coming out in the new year called The Mother Shift, which is going to be life through the mother lens. Essentially, it's not parenting; it's the woman's life through motherhood. So that comes out in January. So there'll be much more info about matrescence and all the things we touched on coming next year.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be tuning into that podcast. I will. Got something new. A new friend that I can listen to. I said my podcasters are like my friends, so they make me feel lonely. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't get it.
Podcast.